here it's trying to produce a project plan for us, and this is actually an interesting stream writer. It's writing both left to right and right to left. But here we go. It produced a nice little plan that says planning, project kickoff is described in that scope and that proposal. They're talking about some planning sessions. They want to then analyze and do some process mapping, future state design, data strategy, do some NetSuite configuration. So this looks like the plan that they're proposing. And there are no dates for this, so that's interesting. And we'll see if we can get some dates for ourselves. I'm going to say this looks good. Let's create this plan. All right. At this point, it's going to try to fetch all the dependencies, break down the work into phases, tasks, and subtasks, and create a project plan for us. All right, and this will be interesting. I like this part so I can actually watch some of the tool calling and the data. This is just a temporary feature that we've enabled so you can actually see the results of the tool call. In the future, this may be deprecated for security reasons, but all this data is yours. You get to see it. There's nothing really too risky in seeing some of the data and the references here. So first it fetched the team settings to make sure that it knows which organization under what's the team, what are the team details, and where it's going to actually create the project. And then even pull some settings for how it needs to organize phases, tasks, and subtasks. And then it says it created the project here. So once it's done streaming, we should actually see a project here on the left-hand side for a new project created for this proposal. So now it's going through a bunch of tool calls, and it's going to create tasks and subtasks for the proposed project plan. So we'll give it a minute and see if it can conclude with a successful project plan with a decent work breakdown for us. What we can also do after that is ask it more questions about what phases and tasks we may be missing in a typical NetSuite implementation, and that may tell us or give us some indication of scope creep in terms of what the proposal suggests versus what does the proposal not include, to say, well, you don't want to end up in a situation later where your vendor then suggests additional costs and additional scope because they didn't estimate it originally. So you want to get all that sorted out in advance. So this is a sort of a good way to sort of validate if the proposal is bound to change with scope creep. So if I'm procuring these services, or if I'm the product owner and I'm part of vendor selection, to me, Kriyastream can be fairly valuable in giving me a pretty decent estimation of the project duration, the project staffing, the project cost, effort versus duration of the project as well. So we'll do some of that in the next steps, but we'll see if it can first finish creating the project, and then we'll go from there. We'll give it a few more minutes to complete here. Okay, so now it says project work breakdown has been created. Okay, created all the initiated subtask, task, subtask. Okay, it doesn't look like it created everything that it was supposed to. But that's just cool. So I see this project here now. If I can go into copilot mode and I'll browse to the newly created project. Okay, so it created some high-level tasks and subtasks. I'm going to say, looks like we may be missing some subtasks. Can you confirm maybe missing some task or subtask. Can you confirm the project plan was created as per the draft? Now, typically, you shouldn't have to ask this, because if your agent loop is working as well as it should, there will be evals and other steps that you would take to ensure what you're proposing is actually created. We're not quite there yet, but this is just sort of one additional step to make sure that we're not missing anything that we had proposed earlier. But in the future, we're hoping that we'll have a more robust agent loop that will be way more structured and way more faster. In fact, sometimes I actually use Cursor with the MCP to create a lot of these project plans. And of course, Cursor's agent loops are probably way more better and way more accurate. But it uses the exact same tools from my MCP, so the outcome is pretty incredible using Cursor. Okay, great. So now it says it found missing items. Recommend yes. Let's create the missing items. So what will be interesting to note is it should recognize where these items are missing in terms of the right hierarchy of the work breakdown, and put the tasks and subtasks in the correct place. So we'll give it a few more moments to complete that, and then we can move to the next step, which is to actually ask for some estimation. This is already kind of interesting that it's figured out certain dates for certain activities. I think what we will ask it to do later is validate the project schedule. Because right now, if I'm looking at this, let's look at the summary. It says, actually 0 days, 0 months. So we'll see if we can refresh the project and get more accurate duration. So this is, you can see some of these show 7 days, 6 days, 20 days. So there's a pretty good duration built into this project. So I want to make sure that we actually have that in our summary for the project. So we'll wait for it to finish creating the remainder of the tasks, and then we'll see if we have the updated project scope as well as the duration. All right, so it says it's created all the tasks now. Let's see, and it's kind of giving us a summary of all the tasks that it should have created, just to validate everything was actually done right. Okay, here we go, much better. So as you can see that as soon as it's done streaming the response, your project automatically refreshes to show you the full project plan. This looks more reasonable. And I think at this point, one of the features that we want to add is actually to show you the highlighted changes so you can accept or reject them individually. For right now, we just commit all the changes from the agent, but we keep all the history so you can always roll back changes. All right, so this looks pretty good, and in our next video, we'll look at fixing the project schedule and then doing some estimation.